So you were the key then. They let you go and it all went to shit.
You said it. You said it. I didn't.
I mean, the facts are the facts, right? It is a scientific fact here at Half Forgotten History. We have the smartest listeners around. And we want you to be smart with your money too, because that's kind of a big deal. And U.S. Bank offers a wide range of credit cards for a wide variety of financial needs. And one of its most useful cards is the U.S. Bank Visa Platinum Card. With a low introductory APR for 24 billing cycles, this card is a tool for getting ahead. The U.S. Bank Visa Platinum Card is a savvy financial move for large purchases, unexpected expenses, we all have those, and balance transfers. And with the ability to customize your payment date, this card really gives you control and flexibility over your financial future. Apply now at usbank.com/platinum. With the U.S. Bank Visa Platinum Card, you can be worry-free for the next 2 years. And to see if you qualify for the best introductory APR out there, visit usbank.com/platinum. Limited time offer. The creditor and issuer of this card is U.S. Bank National Association, pursuant to a license from Visa USA Incorporated. Some restrictions may apply. Hey everybody, what's up? Trey Wingo here. Welcome into another episode of Half Forgotten History. Got a really special guest for you this week. He was a linchpin member of that Legion of Boom defense in Seattle that led them to 2 straight Super Bowls, and they came oh so close to winning back-to-back Lombardi trophies. And now, of course, he's figuring out the next step in his career, or if he even has one. I'm talking about linebacker KJ Wright. He was released by Seattle before last season, signed on with the Raiders, and now his playing future is very much up in the air, but his past is oh so interesting. So please enjoy this episode with KJ Wright. Well, first of all, I was this many days old when I realized your full name was Kenneth Bernard Wright Jr.
Yes.
So is the J in KJ for Junior? Is that what that comes from?
Yeah. I'm named after my dad.
All right. Well, there you go. So am I. I'm a third, so I get it, and we carry on those traditions. So you find yourself in a similar situation as you were this time last year, trying to figure out where things were going, but you're taking a different approach to it this year.
Yes, I am. Last year, I would say that was one of the lowest moments in my NFL career. Just that free agency journey when no one's calling your phone, the phone is dry, your hometown team don't want you, and you're like, where the heck am I going to go? OTAs go by, training camp go by, and your body has been on the clock for the past 10 years. And I was just itching like, oh my God, what's about to happen with my career? And so I was stressed out last year. But this year I'm chilling, I'm working out. Wherever happens, happens. And if it doesn't happen, then I'll be all good. Just, raising my kids and doing a little media stuff.
Yeah, but is it hard to sort of wrap your head around the idea that it might be done? Or because I'm sure in your mind you're still thinking I can play.
Yeah, it's not. I've had that come to Jesus moments. Like if it doesn't happen, obviously it's going to suck on Sundays. If it's, football Sunday is going to suck because I've been doing it. I know I'm great at it. But man, I did a lot of really good things on the football field. And so we all have a clock. It's going to come to an end for all of us. And 11 years is something that I could really be proud of. Yeah, I'll be all right. It'll be all good.
You're right. I mean, an 11-year NFL career is way beyond the norm, but everybody always wants a little more, right?
They do.
You always want that little extra taste. Yeah.
Because my goal was 10. And I said, I get the 10 years, I'll be fine. But I got to year 10 and I had one of my best years. I was like, okay, let me keep this train going. And so, here we are going on year 12 and had a fantastic time in Vegas. And so we'll see what happens next.
Yeah, we'll get to the Vegas part of this in a minute, but everybody knows you as a part of that defense that was such a staple in Seattle for all those years. And the way it ended, that was surprising to you, right? Because you had, like you said, you had come off a really, really good year and the business got in the way, right?
Yeah. I saw that coming. I saw it obviously when they drafted Jordan Brooks, fantastic football player. But here I am, year 10, contract year, got a young, strong, faster linebacker. Okay, the writing on the wall is that KJ may not be here next year. But I had a little glimpse of hope because Jordan moved to the will position and I moved to the Sam position. I was like, maybe they could keep me here. He plays, I play. We can figure out something to where it works for both of us. But it's like, we're going in a new direction. We love you. Thank you. But your services are done here. So came to an end.
And that's never it's never easy, right? Like people always say, "Hey, man, it's just a business," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's a business for them because they sit in an office,
Yeah.
and this isn't a business for you. This is what you do. This is your livelihood. It's your passion."
And I was there for so long. It's like you guys are my family. I felt like I had a key to that building, and they just took that key from me. It's like, nah, you can't come back in here. And so it's definitely a tough pill to swallow. I remember it. I remember going and packing my locker, cleaning out my locker. Now you get that big brown box, put all your stuff in there. That was a real surreal moment. It's like 2 days before training camp. I had to go pack everything up, and so it was a tough pill to swallow. But it's still no love lost. I love them, but it was hard.
So before we get into your personal journey to the NFL and everything that got there, I feel like we're going through a real complete reboot in Seattle
Hmm.
because, we saw Richard Sherman leave, and then the rest of the Legion of Boom left, and then Marshawn Lynch leave, Russell leave.
Yeah.
Now Bobby Wagner's not there. You're not there. What do you think of what's happening in Seattle right now?
I believe. Well, here's the thing. My last year there, we were good. We was 12-4 my last year
Yeah,
there. I left, and then last season happened. It was a complete mess. Just put it in
yeah.
to be quite frank, it's a complete mess. And then you have the Russell, all the trade rumors and all this stuff, and so they just look like, okay, last year was terrible. Our quarterback, we don't know if he wants to be here, loves it here, and so let's just hit the reset button. And what it looks like is that Pete and John want to start back in 2010 when they first got there. Just, hey, let's start this thing from scratch, get everyone out the building, and we're gonna start this thing from
Yeah.
square one with the guys we have.
What you just said, I think people forget, right? Because they're looking at last year's season and like it wasn't very good. But the year before,
Yeah.
whether or not you guys were going to be the number one seed or a wild card
Nope.
came down to the last play of the last game of the regular season, a
Yeah.
goal line stand. You guys were that close to not only being NFC West champs, but being the top seed in the NFC.
NFC champs, and we were a really good football team. And we played. Aaron Rodgers unfortunately put us out. We've never gone to Green Bay and won in Green Bay. I've never won there. And so then they go to San Fran and get embarrassed by the Niners. So if we would have went back to San Fran in that playoff game, I have no doubt in my mind we would have been on the way to the Super Bowl. And so that was
Yeah.
2 years ago, Trey, when
Yeah.
they were a really good football team, and just they let me go, and last year it was just wasn't good.
So you were the key then. They let you go and it all went to shit.
You said it. You said it. I didn't.
I mean, the facts are the facts, right? I mean, you left and suddenly everything wasn't working anymore. But on a serious basis, so much of the NFL now is based on offense, wide receivers, points, EA Sports, Madden, football, all of that. What made the Seattle Seahawks run really interesting
Hmm.
when you guys were there, it was a defensive first
Yes.
football team. And
Yes.
there's no denying that. You guys were bucking the trend at that
Mhm.
point. It hadn't quite become what it is now and how you call the game and the penalties that you get now. But it was still going that way.
Right.
And with you guys and the Legion of Boom and everybody else, Bennett on the line, all that stuff, you guys were a defensive first football team that found a way to succeed when the NFL was shoving offense in everybody's faces. How did that work?
Pete did a fantastic job, and they just got lucky in picking the right group of guys to be in that locker room. You just look at it from the front end all the way to the back. We were just stacked, and our mentality was what really stood out. Like, we were always prepared, always hungry to make the next play, and you just saw on the football field, we just moved and as one of my favorite games ever. May be cliche, but go back and watch the Super Bowl. I've never seen us move so just synchronized on the football field. Everybody just so prepared and just played hard. You know, top defense of this generation in my eyes.
Well, listen, I was at that Super Bowl with my son, who was a Peyton Manning fan. So yeah, we don't need to talk about that. We don't really want to talk about 43-8 safety on the first play of the game. That was a tough parenting day. I'm not gonna lie to you, but but okay, to that point, right? Like for example, let's go through that defense because you're right. It was a defense of a generation the likes of which you'll never see, and it was
Mhm.
sort of built from the back front. You had the Legion of Boom back there, which, by the way, here's the way I've always looked at the Legion of Boom. Okay, it was Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, and other corner, right? I mean, there were three cornerstones, and then there was whoever the other corner was going to be. That's the way I always perceived the Legion of Boom. Is that accurate?
I wouldn't say that. I would say Brandon Browner was a monster.
He's a big boy, no question.
Brandon Browner was a monster. He'll give you a holding penalty every now and then, but the man was just really talented. He's the original Legion of Boom. And then you bring in Brian Maxwell, who was fantastic as well. Got a big contract to go to the Eagles. And so that was a talented group. That was a really talented group. And whoever was at that other corner spot had to hold their own because they knew that if you throw it to Sherm's side, it will either be intercepted or tipped for another interception. And so fantastic group, man. And just one of a kind.
Were you and Richard in the same draft class?
Yep, me, Sherm, and Malcolm Smith.
That's incredible. Malcolm Smith, Super Bowl MVP of the Super Bowl, which will not be mentioned anymore, Super Bowl 48. I'm not mentioning it again. Congratulations, Malcolm Smith. You got the MVP. So you got Malcolm Smith, yourself, and Richard Sherman in the same rookie draft class. At what point did you start looking, because everyone does this, right? Everything, you guys are all competitors. Everything's a competition. Everything's a game. At some point, when did you guys realize, oh, I'm going to be better than you as a rookie? No, I'm going to be better than you as a rookie. No, I'm going to do this. Like, when did the game start?
Well, we all had our different journeys to be having a successful rookie season. Sherm didn't start playing until about week 8 because Marcus Trufant got hurt and Walter Thurman got hurt. Yeah. And here comes Richard Sherman.
Wow.
Yeah, remember him? Yeah, here comes Richard Sherman just getting all these crazy interceptions and locking down these receivers and start talking like, oh, this dude is pretty good. And so for me, I started as a rookie from day one. I started the first game and haven't looked back since. And Malcolm, he sprinkled in and there throughout his 4 years there. But we all had our different journeys, and once we got our spot, we just never looked back.
Yeah, look, Sherm is a good friend of mine. I text him all the time, but he had to be a lot those first couple of years, right? Like Sherm doesn't do 85 or 90%. It's 110. Like he had to be a lot to handle.
You know what? I absolutely loved it. Sherm was what we needed on that football team. He held us accountable. He was calling out all the plays before they happened. He was on Russell like, hey, Russell, we need this from you. And he would just let guys know we need to elevate our game. And he was someone that I loved playing with. It crushed me when he tore his Achilles and then was let go that offseason. And so he's gonna have that gold jacket on him in about 5-6 years, and fantastic player.
Yeah, he's actually one of my all-time favorites because he ain't afraid to talk and he ain't afraid to back it up. Like some of my favorite memories about Richard, one of them was when he got Trent Williams so angry in that playoff game in DC that he punched him in the face. I mean, like you've won, right? You have the mental edge when someone wants to take a swing at you with a helmet on.
I'm telling you, man. And he just found a way to get in guys' head. And Sherman got so good at one point. We ran cover 3, right? Sherman would tell me, he was like, Ken, I don't want you to buzz on my side. Go do something else. If I'm on a single receiver side, go be a spot player on the quarterback or something because they would not throw my way. And so his confidence was through the roof. And, he's just always fun to play with.
And you guys not only were fun to play with and fun to watch, but you had no problems getting in each other's faces on the sidelines. And look, I get it. It happens way more than people think. It happens in almost every game. You just don't see it in every game because not every game is nationally televised, and you don't have the star power where you get the better schedule like the Seahawks always got. But there were so many times where you could just see players on the Seattle bench having no problem with getting on each other, but it worked, like because you guys all had that level of respect.
Yeah, and we had that level of love for each other too. Like we had such a great relationship off the field. I can come to you and let you know, hey, bro, you slipping right now. And you may get mad. You may be like, bro, you better get out of my face. But at the end of the day, I'm going to give you a hug after the game, after we win. We'll go out to Joey's and have some lunch, and everything will be all good. And so just our love and care for one another was a way that we could, express ourselves in that way. And it definitely played off on the football field.
Well, outside of the Super Bowl, there were a couple of other memorable games that I want to get your takes on in Seattle. Why don't we take our first break here on Half Forgotten History with KJ Wright? When we come back, we'll talk about some of the craziest games I've ever seen in the history of the NFL that involved Seattle and this Legion of Boom secondary and this entire defense. We're coming right back with KJ Wright.
It is a scientific fact here at Half Forgotten History. We have the smartest listeners around. And we want you to be smart with your money too, because that's kind of a big deal. And U.S. Bank offers a wide range of credit cards for a wide variety of financial needs. And one of its most useful cards is the U.S. Bank Visa Platinum Card. With a low introductory APR for 24 billing cycles, this card is a tool for getting ahead. The U.S. Bank Visa Platinum Card is a savvy financial move for large purchases, unexpected expenses, we all have those, and balance transfers. And with the ability to customize your payment date, this card really gives you control and flexibility over your financial future. Apply now at usbank.com/platinum. With the US Bank Visa Platinum Card, you can be worry-free for the next 2 years. And to see if you qualify for the best introductory APR out there, visit usbank.com/platinum. Limited time offer. The creditor and issuer of this card is US Bank National Association, pursuant to a license from Visa USA Incorporated. Some restrictions may apply.
All right, back on this episode of Half Forgotten History with longtime NFL linebacker KJ Wright, who, of course, spent a decade playing for Seattle when the Seahawks were one of the premier teams in the NFL. And yes, you did win Super Bowl 48, 43-8, when everyone was on the Peyton Manning victory tour in 2013, the year he threw 55 touchdown passes. Still a record, by the way, in a 17-game regular season. And he did it in a 16-game season. Before we move on from that, did you guys feel, because here's the way I felt walking into that game. At MetLife Stadium, I felt like I was at a Seahawks home game because the Broncos have won a few Super Bowls. They've been to a bunch. I remember walking into that stadium like all I see is green and fluorescent yellow everywhere. Did you guys feel that energy in that stadium that day?
We most definitely felt it. Our fans, they always travel. They travel well, and for that to be that's the second Super Bowl that they've been to. And everybody knew, like, this could be the one that we really get. The first one, they always say it got robbed from them with Big Ben and the Steelers. Yeah. But everyone knew in Seattle, like, this is our time to bring this Lombardi trophy home. And so we definitely felt the energy, whether it's home or away. And it felt real good.
Obviously, because of the things we've talked about and Peyton being the person he was in the league and the records that he set, and still, I think, 54-something or 5,500 yards passing, also still a single-season record. It felt like, going into that game, the narrative was, well, Peyton was let go in Indy after he got hurt, and they had the chance to draft Andrew Luck. Here he goes. The sheriff is back on the top of his game, coming back from injury. He set this record-setting season. It felt like a lot of people were thinking of it as a coronation and not a contest. Did you guys perceive that week in New York?
We knew the talk. You hear the stuff in the media, best offense in the history of the game, Peyton Manning, this is his year. You definitely hear all that stuff. But at the end of the day, when you turn on the film and when you step in between those white lines, none of that stuff even matters. And so once we hit that field, first of all, let me take it back. Yeah. Once we was watching them on film, we saw, like, none of these defenses are remotely close to us.
That's true.
They're putting up all these points, and no one that's playing can remotely even come close to what we bring to the table. And so we knew that when we stepped on the football field that they have not seen anything quite like that what they're about to see. And so we stepped on the football field and just handled business like we knew we could.
So was it tendencies that you saw in that film study, or did you just not see defenses being as aggressive as you guys were?
I just saw a lot of bad ball. I just saw a lot of bad ball on defense. Like, how are they just letting Peyton and Decker just do all this stuff to them? And so we knew that when we watched the film, we knew what they like to do. We definitely had their tendencies, and we was just moving on the string, put the ball in the kill zone, lighting Moreno up, and it was just a really fun day. And even the 8 points they scored was way too many. They shouldn't even score that many.
Well, I mean, you're right. I mean, like I always say, the first points in a game are the toughest to get. And I remember right before the half, they had a chance to kick a field goal just to get on the board.
Right.
And I think they were down 20-0 at that point, or 18. It was some weird score. So they were going to go for the touch. I'm like, guys, kick the field goal. Like, just get on the board, kick the field goal. But to that point, the first play of that game was a safety. Peyton came up to the line of scrimmage to try and change the call. As a defensive player, when the first snap of the game is a safety and you're on the field, you had to think, there is no way we're losing this game.
We didn't go that far. We was like, dang, did that really just happen? Like, okay, let's let offense go on the field and let's hit the reset button. We always like hit the reset button, next play. And so that didn't faze us too much. When I realized we weren't about to lose the game was when Percy Harvin,
second half,
we was all talking in the locker room. Oh, we about to get the ball back. They haven't kicked it to us. Percy about to return it. Everybody in the locker room knew that we was about to take it for a touchdown. And I kid you not. You can ask anybody in the locker room. And here we go. They kicked it off. Their little squib kick to Percy. 6 points.
Yeah, and that was it. And that's when the reality set in. Like, this is not changing.
Yeah.
Like, this is not changing. It became just, pro forma. Like, let's get to the end here because we all know how this is going. You mentioned Percy. Like, we talked about the strong personalities in
Yeah.
the locker room in Seattle. There are all kinds of stories about Percy and going after and going on and fighting Golden Tate. Like, what was it like? I mean, how did you guys control all those strong personalities? Because it bubbled over quite a bit.
Yeah. We did a great job controlling the personalities that came in. Like, we all came in together. I came in with Sherm, Doug, Cam. Earl was a year older than me, so we all knew how to somewhat monitor each other. And when Percy came in, it was just that experiment. It didn't work out. It didn't work out. He came in, tremendous player, tremendous talent, but just gelling with the guys,
Yeah.
it didn't quite work out.
That was never his forte.
Yeah. And so I love him. I love him, great dude. But it's just when he came there in Seattle, it didn't quite pan out the way that everyone envisioned, because he is a tremendous talent, but the chemistry wasn't quite there.
Wasn't there a fight that week with him?
Yeah, I don't know how they got out. I don't know who let that out. It was
yeah,
a fight.
Yeah, it was Golden, right? It was Golden Tate.
It was Golden,
Yeah.
and once that happened, we was like, let's get through this game.
Yeah.
But this got to get addressed, because we don't really physically fight each other. We argue, we get mad, we may fight. We have pass on in practice. That's just as far as it goes.
Sure.
But off the field, we love each other, and there's no fights off the field.
Yeah, that was it was something, man. Like that, it always felt like you guys were just on the level of combustion, and you got to this point, and you found a way to bring it back.
Yeah. That's how it worked. That's how it worked. And we always had those cool, calm guys. Like, I was cool, Bobby was cool, Cam was cool, and so you have to have that fine mixture of guys to just make this thing look really awesome. And so we had a great mix of personalities that made it work.
Yeah. So anyway, you're rolling there. You win that Super Bowl XLVIII. You go into the next season as one of the favorites to win it all. You have the NFC Championship at your place. And I remember early on in that game against Green Bay Packers, they had 3 opportunities in the first quarter or maybe the first half, first and goal. And I think they kicked field goals on every single one of those drives. Yeah. How much of a boost that give the defense? Because if they had scored maybe 1 touchdown, suddenly you guys are in trouble.
That game could have easily been 21-0 early in the first quarter, because it was turnovers. We turnover on a kickoff return, through interceptions. It's like, man, this game could have gotten ugly. But hats off to our red zone defense, because Aaron Rodgers, they were on fire that year. They were really on fire. But he had his calf injury. Aaron did have his calf injury. And so that game could have got way out of hand. And so 5 turnovers total. And for us to win that game was still bizarre to me to this day.
Here's what I remember about that game more than anything else, and we'll get to the onside kick, because that's what everyone remembers. And the Packers tight end blew his assignment because I think Jordy was there to take it, and he went up for the ball, and then you guys got it. But to me, the greatest attribute an athlete can have is when he's sucking and just not playing well, to find that switch to turn it around. Mm-hmm. And I say that because I think we can all agree Russell played arguably the worst game I'd ever seen him play for 3.5 quarters. Mm-hmm. And then you guys scored the touchdown on the fake field goal. Yep. And suddenly you guys had an energy, and Russell had, he was terrible in that game. And all of a sudden he's like, holy shit, I think we actually have a chance here. And he was a completely different quarterback.
I'm telling you, it's just, I've been with Russell the past 9-10 years. Each and every game, the dude is the same. He never gets rattled. We can be down 21-0 with 2 seconds left to go in the game. He still believes we have a chance to win. And it's just his mentality, his positivity is just infectious around the whole team. And so for the man to throw 4 interceptions that day and still, get the job done, hats off to him. And so definitely was a team effort, but Russell, he never wavers.
So it goes back and forth, and we think it's over when Julius Peppers picks off that ball, right? And picks off that pass, and or somebody else picked off, and Peppers told him to get down, right? That's what it was. Yeah.
I can't remember who picked it, but there was just another blow to it. It's like, oh my God. It was like another one. And so it was like, but we went out there and we made another stop. we made another stop. and got the ball back. And so a lot of credit went to Russell, but at the same time, we got to recognize how awesome that defense was to keep stopping Aaron Rodgers, to keep giving the offense the ball back all the way through to the very end.
When the onside kick was messed up, and obviously the Green Bay tight end didn't do what he was supposed to clear the way. So Jordy was right there to take it. Like he had just done his job, Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. When you guys recovered the onside kick, you had to think that we got this.
Yeah. We knew that the energy in that stadium was like, I can't even describe it. Everybody was just like, we about to go drive this ball down and win this ball game. We about to get it done. Yeah. And so Russell made a tremendous drive. Marshawn did his thing on the running the ball in. Then we had the
2-point conversion play was nuts. It was insane.
2-point conversion. Russell did his little thing, spinning around everywhere. Just threw the ball up to Luke Wilson. That should have been intercepted as well. But God,
correct.
Yeah, we had some Seattle wind to just blow that ball a little bit, and Luke Wilson caught it. And so, fantastic game, man. And then Aaron did his thing to make his drive, kick the field goal, and then we got the ball back on the kickoff,
correct,
or in the coin toss, and Kurtz caught the ball. Wild game.
It was Kurtz that caught that touchdown, right? It wasn't Baldwin, right?
It was Jermaine
Kurtz, yeah. Okay, so that's by the way, that was the best throw Russell made all game. Like that was the best throw Russell made all game. Yeah. He had it when he needed it. And then you guys go back to the Super Bowl. You guys were so beat up in that game. Look, injuries, every team could use an excuse. Like the Chiefs' offensive line two Super Bowls ago, they were put together with spit and tissue paper. But I mean, I think Richard had a torn labrum in his shoulder in that game. I think Cam was out there with another injury. I mean, you guys were pretty beat up going into it. You had to know, like, this is going to be difficult.
I'll tell you how it went. Sherm hurt his elbow in the Green Bay game.
Elbow, that's right.
Yep. Earl had the torn labrum.
That's right.
Cam tore his knee like 2 days before the Super Bowl. I still don't know how he played to this day. Cam tore his knee before the Super Bowl. And so we were beat up really bad. And then you face the best quarterback in the history of the game. And but still Trey. What was the score? It was up 2 touchdowns.
28. Yeah.
Yeah, it was up 2 touchdowns in that game. And so as beat up as we were, we still played phenomenal. Did it all the way through and just came up. You know what happened. We just came up short.
Oh, we're going to talk about it for a second because here's what I remember about that. Because my job at that Super Bowl was to do post game and interview the Super Bowl MVP. So when you do that, you go down a little early to get to where you need to be. So you don't see some things that are happening. And you guys are down 28-24 at that point. You get the ball back, you're driving. And as we're walking down to the room where we're going to wait for the MVP to come in, we hear this incredible roar, like, ah. Well, like that had to be a Seahawk play. Like that, we knew there were more Seahawk fans in that stadium because you guys were going to back-to-back, trying to win back-to-back. The Patriots are the last one to do that. Mm-hmm. Super Bowls 38 and 39. It was this massive roar, and that was that was Baldwin, right? That was Baldwin on that play.
No, that was Ricardo Lockett.
Lockett, that's right. Mm-hmm. Okay, so he comes up with that great catch to put you guys up on first and goal.
That was
right?
That was Jermaine Kearse that made the catch.
Yeah, that was Jermaine. Yeah, that was Jermaine Kearse to go down there and make the catch to get you up on first and goal down there. Yeah. I still don't know how he caught that. So then we have to go to another place, and then 2 seconds later we heard another roar, and I was like, wasn't quite as loud as the other one. I'm like, I think that sounds like a Patriots roar, and then we saw it like because we're on a time delay of about 5 seconds. Where we're getting the feed into the stadium, and that's when we saw the interception. Now, Richard Sherman's face on the sidelines will forever be what most people think of what Seattle was thinking when they saw that interception at the goal line. What was going through your mind?
What was going through my mind was, God, why are we in shotgun?
Thank you.
Yeah, we just gave Marshawn the ball, and I actually screamed that out loud. I said, "Why are we in shotgun?" I screamed that out loud. And then everything happened so fast and the ball got snapped. And I was like, I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything. I just looked and I just dropped. I just dropped to my knees. Like, this is not just happened. He didn't catch that ball. This isn't real. Like, my back-to-back Super Bowl is not going to end like this. And so, just devastation. Probably, the worst feeling you can imagine as a pro player.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Have you ever had anything in a competitive arena that made you feel worse than that moment?
That beats it. Nothing comes close to that. Nothing comes close to that. I just was crying, mad, just full of all kind of crazy emotions. And so that's you don't get those opportunities too often. And when you do it to yourself, when you do self-inflicted wounds, that stings 10 times more.
Yeah, there's two sides to this play, and we need to look at both. First of all, you got to give Malcolm Butler all the credit in the world. Like
Yeah.
he recognized that play from film study and knew to break on the ball inside. So you have to give him all the credit in the world. Like you cannot deny his presence and awareness on that play.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point, why are we in shotgun? Like you have Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
And, you have the ultimate hammer. I think it was second down, right? It was second down.
Yeah.
It was second down. So you have 3 shots, okay?
Yeah.
You got 3 shots with the hammer. And, okay, let's say you want to throw it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you throw it inside where there's all this traffic to arguably, and I love Lockett, don't get me wrong, probably your 4th best receiver. Mm-hmm. Those are the things that were going through my mind as I rethought that play.
It's just it's really not that difficult to understand. Like you just give them the ball all 3 times. You don't even throw it. You don't throw it at all. And we could have been cool with that. We could have been like, damn, like they bowled up and they got it done. And we would probably just been, that feeling that we had as this dynasty is over, we wouldn't have felt that my entire time in Seattle. We would be like, damn, we fell short. We'll go back next year. But once that moment happened, you knew that this is over. Like we can't. All this success we had, this love for one another we had, it dwindled away with that decision.
People always talk about, well, you had all offseason to recover and all. It's the emotional damage as much as the physical stuff, right?
That's Trey. That gray dark cloud hung over us for about 4 years, to where we were just upset, we were angry. We didn't really talk about it, but you just felt the energy in that building when you walked in there. It's like, this sucks. It really sucks right now that I don't have 2 Super Bowl rings. And so it lasted a while, and that's when things started changing. Guys started leaving, leaving the organization, getting cut, getting traded. He's like, all right, this a wrap here.
I promise we'll move on from this, but people don't understand the significance of that play, because had you guys scored a touchdown there, you would have been the first team since the Patriots to repeat as Super Bowl champs.
Mm-hmm.
People would then be saying, why can't Tom Brady win a Super Bowl? Because before that Super Bowl, his last Super Bowl win was Super Bowl 39. 39.
Yeah.
Okay. So it'd be like he's lost his last couple of Super Bowls. Are the Patriots still the dynasty? All that kind of stuff. And I don't know if you've ever thought about this. If you guys had won that game, Pete Carroll would be the only coach in the history of football who would have won multiple college national championships and multiple Super Bowls.
Yep.
All of that, poof, went away on that one play.
Mm-hmm. And people were then talking about, these guys can go back to back to back. They could do it a third time. And so you saw when Tom Brady got that one, he did another one when he beat the Falcons. He got one when we went to the Bucks. And it's just when you get the momentum and you got the confidence, that sticks with you. And so that play, it changed a lot of people's lives. It really did. A lot of lives, a lot of lives got changed by that. A lot of legacies got tarnished by that decision. And so it's something that was hard to learn. And I'm sure if they're ever in that situation again, they'll know what to do.
And again, people always say, "Oh, well, there's always another season." It don't work that way. Like will you ever let that go?
No, I can't. I can't. It's like I think about that Super Bowl more than I do about the one that I won. Like I think about losing the one. That's an athletes are wired. Like what didn't we do? And so I think about that one more than I think about the Super Bowl ring that I do have. Yeah, no,
you're 100% right. Whenever I talk to a player, the first thing they'll always remember is what I didn't get right, as opposed to the things that they did get right.
Yep.
And that's sort of survival, right? You have to think that way.
You think that way. And here I am right now as a free agent. It's like, damn, I got all these tackles, but I don't have 1,000 tackles. I'm like 8 away from 1,000 tackles. So that's always in the back of my head. Like, damn, I need to go get this, or I haven't gotten a touchdown yet. Or it's like always something that we want to go achieve. And that's what drives us to be the best. But at the same time, like we don't appreciate the work that we've done enough.
Yeah, well, listen, you put in amazing work with the Seahawks. Why don't we take our second break? When we come back with KJ Wright, we'll talk about the last season with the Raiders and what lies ahead going forward. Stay with us. We're coming back on this episode of Half Forgotten History with KJ Wright.
It is a scientific fact. Here at Half Forgotten History, we have the smartest listeners around. And we want you to be smart with your money too, because that's kind of a big deal. And US Bank offers a wide range of credit cards for a wide variety of financial needs. And one of its most useful cards is the US Bank Visa Platinum Card. With a low introductory APR for 24 billing cycles, this card is a tool for getting ahead. The US Bank Visa Platinum Card is a savvy financial move for large purchases, unexpected expenses, we all have those, and balance transfers. And with the ability to customize your payment date, this card really gives you control and flexibility over your financial future. Apply now at usbank.com/platinum. With the US Bank Visa Platinum Card, you can be worry-free for the next 2 years. And to see if you qualify for the best introductory APR out there, visit usbank.com/platinum. Limited time offer. The creditor and issuer of this card is US Bank National Association, pursuant to a license from Visa USA Incorporated. Some restrictions may apply.
All right, back with KJ Wright on this episode of Half Forgotten History. We're moving on. We're past the Seattle disappointment in Super Bowl 49. We're moving on. We are going forward. And you spent last season with the Raiders. Now, it took a while to get there, and you said it was an anxious time. That was a wild year to be a member of the Raiders with everything that went on from, John Gruden get picked off by an email from the Washington football team to what happened with Arnett, what happened with Henry Ruggs. I mean, a lot of shit went down for the Raiders last year, yet you guys still found a way to get into the postseason and had a chance against the Bengals in that wild card playoff game. Can you put into words how crazy that season was in Las Vegas?
I've never experienced anything like that. Like you have your stuff during the season, you have your drama, you have your, whatever. But to have a head coach get fired, never experienced that. To have, guys, just had the tragedy that we happened that was unfortunate, never experienced anything like that. And guys getting your first round pick getting released for social things on social media. Like you don't see stuff like that. And we felt that. We felt that stuff in the middle of the season. And for us to even make the playoffs, for us to get 10 wins, that was really impressive by, obviously Derek Carr, obviously Coach Rich Bisaccia, and the character in that locker room. And so a lot of stuff that we had to overcome, and it was not easy at all.
Yeah, I really felt bad for Rich because he became the Raiders, by the way, and I don't know if you even knew this, you guys became the first team last year ever to fire a coach mid-season. Now, normally you fire a coach because you have a losing record, not for an email that got picked off from a different time zone. But you guys became the first team ever to change head coaches in the middle of the season and make it to the postseason. I thought Rich did an amazing job, and I kind of felt bad that he didn't get more of an opportunity to get the head coaching job.
And maybe you can make sense, to me, because the way I look at it is like you haven't been to the playoffs in forever. You have all this drama. Your players absolutely love this man and Rich Bisaccia.
Yeah.
Everyone loves him. To me, it's a no-brainer. Like, let me give this guy an opportunity. Let me give this guy an OTA. Let me give him an offseason. Let me give him some draft picks that he loved to see if we can keep this momentum going. And so it was just a no-brainer to bring him back. And so I don't know, what goes in as far as decision making and what they want as owners, but I was like, you can't do that as a team. Like, maybe you can help me make sense. I didn't get it.
Listen, I learned a long time ago never try and get inside the thought process of a billionaire because it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. There's not a lot of logic that goes into any of that. I wish Josh McDaniel all the luck in the world. We'll see what happens. But I thought Rich really deserved an opportunity to have a full-time job as the head coach there. Mm-hmm. The other thing I want to get your perspective on, because what we've seen in the AFC West in this offseason is basically everybody loading up to try and stop the Chiefs, right? We have the Raiders getting Devontae Adams and bringing in Chandler Jones. You have the Chargers bringing in Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson. You have Denver getting your former quarterback, Russell Wilson, to go along with all the wide receivers they have there. All of this, to me, KJ, is because of one guy, Patrick Mahomes, and the stuff he's been able to do. So I want to get your perspective, having tried to defend him twice last year, and explain to people how almost impossible that is.
The man put up 40 points on us both times. And when you look at the Chiefs' offense, it's hard to even prepare for them because they really run backyard football. They run some stuff. They start scrambling, and he chunks it up for 40 yards to either Travis Kelce or, he had Tyreek Hill. They're so hard to defend. They're so hard to prepare for. And Mahomes is special talent. There's no throw he can't make. And so it's just a team that when they let Tyreek Hill go, I don't got them as the best team anymore. I don't think they're the best team in that division anymore. I got the Raiders as the best team. But the Chiefs, their playbook is just unreal.
All right, so let's go to two things there. Number one, how much do you think the loss of Tyreek will impact what we see from Kansas City's offense?
It's going to be changed. Like who's going to be that guy when Patrick Mahomes starts scrambling that he can just chunk the ball up to 60 yards down the field? Who's going to be that guy when Tyreek run that drag route? He just throw a 5-yard route to. He makes everyone miss and scores a touchdown. No one on that offense can do remotely close to what Tyreek Hill did. And so it's going to be really interesting to see how they respond with the loss of him.
I think they're banking on Mecole Hardman to try and finally get that, because when they drafted him in 2019, I thought they might lose Tyreek. What have been your impressions of trying to deal with Mecole?
He's good, and he's extremely fast. Like we always talked about both those guys, and we knew that big speed guys, but watching them on film, Tyreek he's different. No, he's the most feared offensive player in my mind when it comes to receivers. And so, he's definitely got to take that next step, but you cannot replace Tyreek Hill.
No, I always call him the Steph Curry of the NFL. He has unlimited range. He can hit from anywhere.
Yeah.
With that being said, again, having played Patrick Mahomes twice last year, where do you rank him in the terms of quarterbacks that you've played against as the toughest?
Oh, played a lot of good ones. I'm going to go, he's top 5. Mm-hmm. I got Brady up there. I have Phillip Rivers up there. I love Phillip Rivers is one of a kind. Drew Brees is up there. I got Mahomes top 5. Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
That dude is talented as well. And so Patrick Mahomes, he's top 5 in my eyes.
Now I'm curious, what about Rivers? Because I've sensed a lot of love there for the talkative non-swearer in Phillip Rivers.
Man, he's just I wish I had the chance to play with him or just to see how he is at practice. I hear he's an awesome dude, awesome teammate. And just when you step on the football field with him, I've never had a quarterback to say what defense we're in and let the whole offense know. He would say, these guys are coming to weak side blitz to your right. Hey, center, slide to your right. They're doing that blitz we saw on film. He would literally say that on the football field. And just the way that he picked us apart. One game, Antonio Gates had 4 touchdowns against us. And Phillip Rivers is one of my most favorite people ever to compete against. And, fantastic talent.
All right, so like you said, you wanted 10 years. You got 10 in Seattle. You got an extra year in Las Vegas. You're not going to sweat it this offseason like you did last offseason. Yeah. In the perfect situation for KJ Wright, what would you like your next football destination to be?
I want to go back home. I think it's that simple. Seattle know that I want to come back. They know that how much they mean to me. Last year I left, went to Vegas by myself. My family didn't come with me. Not doing that again. I don't think I'm going to move my family anywhere else across the country. And so if it's not Seattle, then I'll be happy. I'll be content.
All right. So this is a message now to Pete Carroll. This is a message to John Schneider. I'm just saying, you guys let KJ Wright go, and you went from almost being the number 1 seed to the whole thing falling apart. So you guys can correct it. You can right or wrong. Let's get KJ Wright home to Seattle. You good with that?
Make it happen.
All right. Perfect. We'll see how much power this pod actually has. Listen, I've always loved watching you play. As much as you ripped my son's heart out in Super Bowl XLVIII, I have to respect the way that defense played. And you were a big part of it all those years, and we'll see what happens going forward. KJ, we appreciate your time. Thank you, man.
No doubt. Thank you, Trey.
Once again, thanks to KJ Wright, and we'll see what happens. John Schneider, Pete Carroll, you know what happened when he left. You can right or wrong. Do it. We'll see what happens with KJ. They're not listening to me. But listen to KJ. Coming up on our next episode of Half Forgotten History, we'll talk to a newly minted Hall of Famer. Think of him as the Gale Sayers or Terrell Davis of offensive linemen. His career wasn't as long as perhaps it should have been to get in the Hall of Fame, but his play was so good it didn't matter. I'm talking about, of course, longtime Jacksonville Jaguar offensive lineman, Tony Baselli. We'll see you then on that episode of Half Forgotten History.